Today's show is brought to you by these great sponsors. Appling Healthcare in Baxley, Vidalia Federal in Vidalia and Lyons, Johnson & Johnson Transport in Uvalde, and by Todd Paget Housing Center in Claxton. Now, let's talk about what's happening in our community with your host, Tony Doc Wardlaw.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to this edition of Community Matters. I'm your host, the Doc, Tony Wardlaw, and we are here for another edition of Community Matters. Scott, we've got another beautiful day out there.
Yes.
I know it's a little cloudy and overcast, but it's beautiful, and the plan is for this to even clear up and get a little sunnier in the afternoon.
And warm.
And warm, yes. Well, I missed you all on last week. The Doc was a little under the weather, but we're back again this week. I want to give a special shout out to my dear friend, Mr. Eddie Toole, the voice of the dogs. I saw him on yesterday, and he said that he offered up a good prayer for me on last week. I was wondering why my recovery was so quick, and now I know.
He has a direct connection.
That's right. What a wonderful, wonderful man he is, and it's good to be here with you. We have a special treat for you this morning. We have a guest in the studio, and without further ado, I just want to introduce the one and the only, the debonair, and the man himself, Mr. Adam Paul.
How you doing?
All right. Good to have you in the studio this morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, one of the things we do here at Community Matters is we introduce some of the hidden qualities or the hidden good things that are happening here in our community. And I heard about a program that you have, and I said, you know what? That'll be a good person to have on Community Matters, to let everyone know that this exists here in our great community. So tell us the name of your program and how long it has been in existence.
So the name of the company is Reparation Road. Excuse me. And we have actually been in operation for about 2 years now. Mm-hmm. Reparation Road is a subsidiary of our nonprofit, R&R Charitable. And what we do basically is offer preservation and historic information to disenfranchised communities.
Okay. All right. So now you said a mouthful there. So we're going to break it down so that everybody understands. You've been doing this for 2 years, so this has been in existence in our community in 2 years.
It has.
For 2 years, and so I feel honored to finally have you introduce it here on the show. In fact, this is your first radio interview.
It is. This is my first time live on the air.
First radio interview and your first rodeo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, listen, tell us, what is Reparation Road?
So, as I stated before, Reparation Road is an LLC subsidiary of our nonprofit R&R Charities, and what we are is a historic preservation and family history company.
Okay.
Our main goal is to preserve history of people of color communities in the United States, and to kind of disseminate to spread information based on the contributions they've given to this country over the last 400 years.
Okay. All right. Well, tell us, how does it work? How do you go about doing the mission of the program?
That's a good question.
All right.
So as of current, what we do is we just try to bring together people in local communities and give them the resources that they would need in order to kind of track down their ancestors, their family history, or just local history in particular. So we kind of do pop-up shops in local communities. Excuse me. At current, we are doing our workshops at the Ladson Genealogical Library in Vidalia, and those occur once a month, each month, and we allow people to come in, and we just kind of walk them through the methodology of tracing yourself from today back to whatever hopefully whatever period of time that you're looking to get to.
Oh, wow.
And just kind of giving people the information and the knowledge on how to do that.
Oh, wow. So is this similar to like the Ancestry.com or those
So
those
I wouldn't
programs?
say that we are similar to Ancestry.com as much as I would say that we show people how to better utilize websites and organizations like Ancestry.com. A big part of our mission being a nonprofit is we hope to make the information as freely available to communities as possible. And if some of your listeners are familiar with Ancestry.com and websites and organizations of that like, then you'll know there is a paywall. You have to pay in order to use those websites. So a large part of our mission is teaching people or showing people how to, I wouldn't say get around, but letting them know what resources are available free to them.
Oh, wow. You just said the magic word on this show.
Isn't it?
We like to introduce free resources
Isn't it?
to our people.
Yes,
Free.
Free. Yes, sir.
Well, listen, you talked about your target audience is to those persons who are, how did you say it, your target audience?
Well, I would broadly say people of color, because as we know, people in this country, disenfranchised communities, come in a wide variety of shapes, sizes, and colors. But more specifically, people descended from those who were held in bondage in this country.
Those who are enslaved.
Yes.
Okay. And how have you found your work? Has it been productive here in our community?
I would say so. We've been able to uncover a lot of information that unfortunately is very easily accessible, but for whatever reason, or for as many reasons as you can probably assume, just has not been given to the people it would most affect.
Wow. Wow. Well, having you here on the show is one way that we try to work to overcome those, I guess, lack of knowledge of your existence. You're located in the Ladson Library. Correct. And that is it still downtown?
It is off of Church Street, or off of McIntosh, I apologize, in downtown Vidalia, inside of the Meadows Children Healthcare Center.
Yes.
If you go inside of there, that's probably the biggest concern or problem that people have is they get to that Children's Healthcare Center and they don't realize where we are.
Yeah.
So we are actually in the basement of that building.
Okay.
But currently, Vidalia is building a new state-of-the-art library, and our collection will be getting moved over to that new library in January.
Wow. So how often are you in town?
So I am personally here Thursday and Friday of each week, but the library itself and all of the collections based in that building are available to the public Tuesday through Friday each week.
Okay, so Tuesday through Friday every week.
Yes, sir.
The library is available for persons to walk in, and I've visited the Ladson Library on quite a few occasions, and they do have a lot of genealogy resources, and never knew that this would be an option and an addition to the library. So it's very good to know. And we appreciate your work. So what is any upcoming events that you have in terms of huge, I guess, marketing or production events?
So as I was stating, we have been hosting Reparation Road partnered with the Ohoopee Library System as well as Toombs County Seeds, which is a local nonprofit headed by Chandra and Italica. I'm not sure if people are familiar with those names.
Chandra Johnson?
Yes, sir.
And
Italica Harris.
We had them on the show. It was last year. I think it was last year. They were here to talk about the events that they've had in the community, namely the first Juneteenth. They started that. Correct. And so we had them on the show then. So yes, we are familiar with them here on Community Matters.
So we have partnered with them in order to do these pop-up workshops at the Ladson Library, and we've been hosting those workshops from May of this year, and they're going to run up until December of this year. So our next family history workshop is going to be November 12th. So in 2 weeks, if any of your diligent listeners are hearing this, we would love to have you there. More seats, more bottoms and seats is always a beautiful thing. But outside of those workshops, we do hope to host a Black History Month gala in February. And what that's going to entail is just a black tie event for the community. Of course, you do not have to be a person of color to attend. All people are welcome, and allies are always of benefit. But what we are hoping to do is just to offer a sense of pride and class to the community and give them networking opportunities that can further spread the message and the mission.
All right. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Mr. Adam Paul. He is the director of Reparation Road, and it is a genealogy program here in our community. And we're happy to have you as a part of the show this morning. We're going to take a break, and then after we come back from the break, we want to talk more about some of your findings. And let's get into some of the things that people can expect to find when they visit your program. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Come right back right after these messages.
Smarter, not harder. Here at Vidalia Federal, we are all about that phrase as we strive to make your life easier. No more drowning in paperwork or being interrogated over the idea of buying a house. Getting a home loan should be an enjoyable, simple process, not a daunting task. This is Julia McKenzie with Vidalia Federal Savings Bank, and I am here to make the mortgage process easy and simple. Come see me at the Vidalia branch on Jackson Street to talk about your next home purchase or refinance. I look forward to serving you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's fall, y'all, and you know what that means. It's game time. So fire up the grill, call your family and friends, and invite them over to watch the game in your new home from Todd Paget Housing Center in Claxton, Georgia. This is Anthony J., and I'm here to tell you that we can help you punt away that rent payment and drive you down the field to home ownership. We'll bust you through all the mortgage paperwork, too, like old Herschel Walker busting through a defensive line. Come see the Todd Squad today at Todd Paget Housing Center right off of Highway 280 in Claxton, and let's kick off to your dream home. Todd Paget Housing Center, your dream, our team.
Dorothy Davis with Southeastern Business Solutions here, specializing in website services, graphics management, and video editing. We have partnered with TCB Broadcasting to bring your sponsorship ads to life with their live on-air programs, which are recorded and archived along with your sponsorship ads as they were aired at the time of production. These programs are viewable by anyone at any time from anywhere on major social outlets like YouTube or Facebook, to include TCBBroadcasting.com's website. That's a lot more viewing potential, more than you would get than with a still banner that's only viewable by website visitors. With this kind of viewing potential, you want to make sure your ad says a lot more than a simple animated logo can say. These services are only available on TCBBroadcasting.com, and the spots are limited. So reach out to your TCB Broadcasting account executive and get yours locked in as soon as possible. You can bring your own video with you, or you can email Dorothy at southeasternbusinesssolutions.com, and you and we can put our creative minds together to come up with the perfect ad that says the perfect message and gets you the perfect attention.
Welcome back to this edition of Community Matters. I'm your host, the Doc, and we are here this morning with none other than the one and the only, the debonair man himself, Mr. Adam Paul. Mr. Paul, you are the owner of Reparation Road, and you've been working in our community for 2 years trying to help and offering a program that will afford people the ability to research their history and their genealogy. So you've got a big event coming up on November 12th. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So as we were speaking before, those are what you're referring to is our genealogy, our family history workshops that we've been hosting since May. And what that's going to entail is just bringing in people. As I said, more bottoms in the seats will always be a big deal. So we're asking people to come out to the Ladson Genealogical Library on November 12th and allow us to help you figure out the methodology in order to trace your family history back to a specific period in time. You know, we always tell people to come in with a specific question. That way you're not all over the map. So say you were hoping to work back to slavery, perhaps. We would ask that you come up there, let us know your question, and we will walk through with you generation by generation all the way back to that period and provide you with that documentation for your own private records.
Okay. Now, what time is that opening on November 12th?
So the workshops start on the second Saturday of each month.
Okay.
That would be the 12th of November at 10 a.m. And they are generally 2-hour workshops, but sometimes, of course, that runs over depending on what we find and what we're looking for.
All right. So it's every second Saturday these workshops
Yes, sir.
are in existence. But prior to that, they can go in every week, Tuesday through Friday.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're here in town during the workshops.
I am. I am the host of the workshops.
Oh, wow. Okay. So now, is it open to the whole public?
It is.
Or is it just to minorities?
It is open to the entire general public. As I was saying before, allies are always a very, very big deal. And so when I say allies, if you are a non-person of color listener who is listening right now, please understand your family history is just as valuable as anyone else's, and we would be more than happy to help you work on that.
Absolutely.
But being where we are in the South, the unfortunate reality is that your ancestors may have been slave owners themselves, and so we do ask for people who are non-minority researchers, please do come down there, because your history is our history. It is a shared history. We are all Americans, and so yes, very much so, it is open to the entire general public.
And my guess is what you find, and I want to know this. So I'm going to make a statement, but it is also a question. In your work, my guess is that you have found that a lot of our histories and genealogies, they intertwine.
Precisely. And excuse my listeners, but as you stated, more often than not, the further you get back, the closer we are related.
See that?
That is just the simple truth.
Wow. So we may be looking a little different, but Scott and I might be cousins.
Very, very much so. Very much so.
Absolutely. That's good stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I love genealogy, right? Because it does let us know that while we are seemingly polarized and have all of these disunities, we're much closer together than what we think.
Yes, sir.
And it's good to have a genealogy expert in here. I'm trying to see just how much more I can get out of you while we have you. We're going to have you back again.
Oh, please.
Tell us, in what ways can the community support your program?
So if you're listening, as you probably guess, funding is always a big deal. We are doing all of these workshops freely. We offer all of these things freely, but that does not mean they do not come at a cost to us. And so if you are a diligent listener and this is a mission that speaks to you, funding and donations are always a big help for us. But outside of your dollars, your presence is also a very big deal. The more people that we can have at our workshops shows that we are reaching the community. The more people that come in each time, that shows that we are actually, our outreach is working. And so the greatest thing the community could do is just show up.
Excellent. That's wonderful. So how would one go about offering any financial support?
So we do have a website that's reparationroad.org. That's REPAR. I apologize, listeners. REPARATION ArationRoad.org, reparationroad.org. And so if you were to visit our website, there you can find more information about all of the services we offer, as well as our special collections. And then on our website is also a link to our GoFundMe, which of course is right now our bare bones way of putting money into the bank through donations.
Oh, wow. All right. Excellent. So that's reparations. Is that with an S or just an N?
No S.
Okay, no S. So that's reparationroad.org.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they can go to the website. Can they sign up for the workshops there?
We currently do not have a sign-up sheet on our website, but that
so
is
you just
something
walk in.
You can just show up. You can just show up. That's
10
actually
o'clock.
what we're hoping for, because when we first started doing the workshops, we were posting on Facebook, and we still are currently posting on Facebook through Toombs County Seeds, as well as the Hoopie Library. But we kind of stopped asking people to say whether they were going to show up or not, because we found that people were saying they would show up and not showing up.
Got it.
And we don't want anyone feeling like they are obligated to do this, though your bottom in a seat does really help.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm happy to hear about this. I got a call from Miss Italica Harris, who recommended you come to the show. She said that you had a great program and you're doing great work, and I have to I have to agree with her, and we appreciate that. And I look forward to coming down and seeing how what my history looks like.
Please
I've done
do.
it to a certain extent, but perhaps you can even take us further.
Definitely.
All right. So we're again appreciative to have you as a part of the show. Thank you, Mr. Paul, for coming in, and we also happy to have your escort with you, your mother, sitting in the background. Shouts out to her.
Yes.
And but you come down from Atlanta. You're living in Atlanta.
I do. I live in Atlanta, and I come down here specifically in order to spread this mission with my own community. As you stated, I am actually an Atlanta native, but my roots are here in Wheeler County, Toombs County, Montgomery County area. So this, for me, is a love letter to my own community.
Okay, Wheeler County. That's the other Bulldogs. We're the big Bulldogs, but we'll give you a shout out. That was a little jab. That's a little shaded. But no, certainly happy to have you as a part of the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you,
ladies and gentlemen, please go out and take advantage of these resources as we introduce them to you, and everyone is welcome. And for those who are interested, please be a part of that workshop and go and see what you can find out. It's a good resource. So
Yes, sir.
thank you very much. Again, we thank you, Scott, for always being here with us and engineering everything. Thank you, Miss Dorothy Davis, for putting us on the air. And you can go back and view this show again online, tcbbroadcasting.com. That is tcbbroadcasting.com. And you can take a look at this. And also, if you want to get a visual of Mr. Adam Paul, you can do that as well. So we appreciate it. And again, thank you for listening to us this morning. Come back again on next week. We have another wonderful show. We're going to be talking with the Action Pack, which is a great program here in our community that a lot of people just don't know about, but there are some great resources available to help people and assist them, especially during this season of holidays. So please come back on next week, next Wednesday, same time, same place. Until then, God bless you, and everyone have a good day.
You've been listening to Community Matters, a service of TCB Broadcasting. Today's show was brought to you by Appling Healthcare in Baxley, Vidalia Federal in Vidalia and Lyon, Johnson & Johnson Transport in Uvalde, and by Todd Paget Housing Center in Claxton. Tune in next week at 8:15 during Y101's live morning show for another special guest. We'll talk about what's happening right here in our hometown. Community Matters is a service of TCB Broadcasting on Country Legends Y101.